Hey guys, it's Peyton, and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in November. I read 6.5 books during November, pretty good. Most of them were honestly audiobooks, which is just fine. I enjoyed that. It is like the end of the semester, November, so I had to go that route if I was going to read it all, and I did have the Stranger Things readathon during this month, which was super fun. I will link the card up above of my reading vlog for that. I did read something for class, so that added to it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get into what I read. It was a pretty enjoyable month overall, and obviously you can tell I'm in a different angle today. I don't know if you can really see it that great, but I have a baby Christmas tree in my room. I thought I would film beside it to give it the Christmassy vibe. I love it. And I also got this Ravenclaw shirt. It says Ravenclaw on the back too, and I just feel really cool. So let's just go ahead and get into the books. The first book that I read in November was an audiobook read for me. It was Fairest by Marissa Meyer. This is a novella from the Lunar Chronicles series, which if you watched my last wrap-up video from October, you would know that I reread the whole series, and I really wanted to reread this as well. Basically, this is a novella from the point of view of the villain of the Lunar Chronicles series, and personally, Queen Lavanna, the villain, is one of the most interesting villains I've ever read about, and that's why I feel like this novella was super fun to read. I don't know if I said, but I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because of just how interesting this character happens to be. I liked getting her full backstory, just understanding like where she came from, how she became the monster that we know in the Lunar Chronicles. It's super interesting. If you haven't picked up the Lunar Chronicles, you definitely should, especially since there's these new covers that just got released for the whole series. Well, not for the novella collections, but whatever. The whole series got revamped and they're absolutely beautiful. They come out in February. Definitely probably gonna buy those. I just reread them, so I'm really feeling my love for the whole series. I just feel like I need them, but let's just say the girls on these covers have really big foreheads and really long necks. Like, what is going on? I think they're beautiful, but like, whoa. I just had to point it out. Like, am I the only one that noticed that? Like, the forehead thing is what I noticed the most, but someone else pointed out Cinder's neck, and whoa, it is long. I mean, be a giraffe if you want, but like, where's your spots? So the Lunar Chronicles is basically a sci-fi twist on some fairy tales that we know and love, including Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, Rapunzel, and Snow White. And each book follows a different character, so Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, and Winter, but we still get the other point of views of our past characters. We just add on to it and get more retellings happening all in one go. It's so interesting the way Marissa Meyer weaves all of it together, and if you don't like sci-fi, honestly, still give this book a try because it's really not harsh or anything. It's only sci-fi because it is a futuristic world. Way in the future, they don't have regular cars anymore. Like, they have flying shit and everything like that. There's these group of people that live on the moon called Lunars, and they have the ability to change their appearance. Not actually, but they can manipulate your mind to be able to see what they want you to see. So they can make themselves look beautiful, and they can make you do things that you do not want to do. It's super interesting. Queen Lavanna is the Queen of Luna. The first book follows a Cinderella retelling. Just love this series so much, and I cannot wait for the new covers. Just highly recommend it so much. Like, please go read it if you haven't yet. The next book that I read was also a audiobook. Pretty much the first half of the month was all audiobooks. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to read it all. I had so much going on. I read City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. This was a reread for me as well. Originally, I probably gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, but upon rereading it, it was more of a 4 stars for me. Maybe it was the audiobook that just did that, but I just didn't feel like I could give it that full 5 stars. I still really enjoyed seeing these characters again. It is the second book in the Mortal Instruments series. I kind of am trying to do a reread. I reread the first book like last year. I didn't really feel like rereading it again, so I just thought I'd pick up this one just because I'm super excited for the first Last Hours book to come out like in March of next year. I thought maybe I can attempt to reread some of the books just to like get back into the world. We're gonna see. Like, I really just want to reread The Infernal Devices, but I thought I'd give this a go. If you don't know anything about the Mortal Instruments series, I don't really feel like explaining it to you, but it's basically just about these shadow hunters. They're half angel, half human. They are on the earth to freaking kill demons because they have a mission against demons to keep the humans safe. This girl named Clary gets wrapped up into it. She doesn't know that she's actually a shadow hunter because she's been living in the human world all her life thinking she's a human because her mom lied to her, and one day her mom gets stolen and she's thrown into the shadow freaking hunter world, and she must figure out how to get her mother back and join up with these hot shadow hunters. That's pretty much what the series is about. I love Malik. That's what I gotta say about this. The next book that I read, it was also another reread. What the heck? Apparently I just wanted to reread everything. And this one I reread on audiobook as well, and it was Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nagan. I reread this because the second one just came out and I really felt like I needed a refresher. I originally gave this book like a 3.5 out of 5 stars and now it's a 4, so it bumped up just a little bit. This book is a very hard read, just major trigger warnings for sexual assault, rape, all of those bad things. If you don't think you're comfortable with those topics, definitely do not pick this up because this book gets really real quickly, and it's because it is about this terrible world where there's a demon king and he recruits every year these human girls. They're called paper girls. He recruits them pretty much to have sex with them whenever he wants to. And some of these girls act like they want this. They think they want this just because they've been brainwashed. But the main character does not want this. She got taken from her home. It was not good. And sometimes in YA, this might have been taken as, oh, the king is secretly amazing. Like, he's secretly cute and they're gonna fall in love. But no, the king is actually disgusting. He's horrible. He's terrible. He should die forever. I hate him. Lei, the main character, she ends up falling in love with another one of the paper girls, which is pretty much against everything. They could get murdered for this because the king, once he has you, he doesn't want you to be touched by anyone else. So it's a pretty big deal. Very intense book. I'm really intrigued to see how this plot is taken within the second book, and hopefully I will get it soon. I asked for it for Christmas. Pretty sure I'm getting it from a family. So we'll see whenever I read the second one. Hopefully it's even better than this one because I like this book, but it's not like my favorite thing in the world. Finally, we're about to get to a book that I gave 5 stars and I have not read before until this month. And that is Moxie by Jennifer Matthew. Thank you to Julia from over at A Reader's World, go subscribe, for recommending this book to me. I read it for the Stranger Things readathon and really enjoyed this book. Obviously, it's pretty much about this high school that is just super terrible about women. There's these football players that wear these nasty anti-women like t-shirts and they scream "make me a sandwich" to girls while they're just trying to talk in class, and it's absolutely terrible. It's honestly like, I felt like it was a little bit over the top, but now I'm like, honestly, other girls are probably experiencing this. I just haven't, to this extent at least. It's pretty terrible. There's also trigger warnings for like attempted rape. I don't think that should be a spoiler, you know, like I think people need to know that if they're not good with that to read. So the main character, Vivian, she gets fed up with these football players. She decides to anonymously create this zine that she will spread around the school in the girls' bathrooms. It's a feminist zine and she uses these as a call to action. So the first time she's like, if you're mad at these boys, draw stars and hearts on your hands and show up to school, just to like see how many people are like feeling that, like, you know, it just gets more and more intense as it goes. I just thought this book was really well done. The main character does end up having a romance and I wasn't really liking it at first because the dude just kept saying like things that I felt was a little bit problematic. It ended up being great because she ended up calling him out for his problematic stuff. Then I was like, wow, I felt that. Not every relationship is perfect. Not every guy is going to be perfect. Not every guy is terrible. But sometimes they just will never really truly understand the things that women go through, and she called him out and let him know. She put him in his place, but happily continued the relationship. I liked that a lot. Like, it was awesome. So highly recommend this book. It's becoming a movie. I think Amy Poehler is behind it, so hopefully this come soon because that was like announced forever ago. The next book that I read was The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars as well, and I have a reading vlog if you want to go watch it, so I'll link it in the cards. And this is the 3rd book in the Folk of the Air trilogy. It was the final book. I've been really into this series the whole time. Just find it really entertaining. No, do I not think it's like the best thing ever, but I just found it so entertaining. It's such an entertaining, like I said, series to me. And it has a steamy romance, and if you don't know anything about this book, the first one is The Cruel Prince, and it's about this girl named Jude. She originally lives in the human world, but one day this big buff fairy man comes and kills both of her parents and takes her and her twin sister and her older sister away to the fairy world. They find out that her older sister is actually half fairy and is the daughter of this big buff fairy man, and he takes them in as their own, the murderer of her parents, and she has to live with him like he is her father. That dynamic itself is always so interesting to me, that she ends up having a loving relationship a little bit with the dude that murdered her actual parents. It's crazy. And she also grows up in fairy world where fairies hate humans pretty much, and she has to learn how to survive. Her and her twin sisters, they just have to survive this world, and there's a lot of political intrigue. There's a very steamy romance that is enemies to lovers. You're gonna hate him at first and then slowly like him, and then like the second book you're gonna be like, whoa, do I like this guy? And the third one you're like, yeah, I do like this guy. I'm really into these. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but personally for me, I really like it. Now we're getting to the play that I read for my British literature class. I didn't even rate this because honestly didn't pay attention that great when I was reading it. I didn't think it was fair for me to rate the book, you know, if I wasn't really paying attention while reading it. But I read The Rover by Aphra Behn. It's British literature written by a woman, so that was an interesting take. But I talked about this in class, or I listened to people talk about it in class because I don't talk in class and I have no thoughts, so that's it. And then I read half of another book. I've been reading this book for a while. I did recently finish it in December, so I will talk about it in my December wrap up, but I want to mention how I read like half of A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab throughout this month. Not gonna say any of my feelings because I did finish it. You can tell there's a bunch of tabs. I'll save my feelings for my December wrap up because I read and finished it in December. This is the second book in the A Darker Shade of Magic series. It's pretty much about this world that has alternate universes of Londons. So there's Black London, Red London, Grey London, and White London. Our main character, Kel, he is one of 2 Antares, and an Antari is capable of traveling between these worlds, and he lives in Red London, and the king uses him to like send messages throughout the other Londons. It's also illegal to smuggle objects from other Londons to another London, and one day someone tricks Kel and gives him a piece of rock that ends up being this dark magical object from Black London, which by the way, Black London is no more. It had so much magic that it corrupted and like they had to shut it down basically. And Kel knows he has to get it back to Black London because if it comes in the wrong hands, literally they will all die. So he ends up getting that stone stolen by Lila Bard, and they go on a adventure as he tries to get it back from her, and then they may team up together to freaking get it back to Black London, which if someone goes in there, they cannot come out. So it's kind of bad. Very interesting series, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. You can wait till my December wrap up. So that is all that I read in November. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you liked them, hated them, loved them. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. I read every comment. I just suck at answering. I'm trying to get better. Okay. Like this video, comment down below. Have a good day. Please subscribe. Make sure to follow all my social medias, which I link down below, and go click the bell button, which is right by the subscribe button, which you should have already clicked, and goodbye.